to announce the security parameters and the guidelines. So, Mr. Richard, if you can please brief the security parameters.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ricardo. This is from Security Safety Supervisor. I'll give you a short briefing. It's just in case of events of fire. So how to exit and how to save ourselves during the event of fire. Okay, as you can see behind me, there is a fire exit having me in front of you. And you going this round, you have female and both females toilets. So just in case of fire, so we can direct to proceed to the third layer of parking to go for assembly points. Okay, and then there's additional. So just in case of there's a bit of fire again, if they will ring the bell, so we can proceed directly there. So I have our security to assist with you as to going to the third layer of parking. And, hopefully this I just give me a short brief directly. So just in case I have enjoyed to your party and continue to the party, be a safety and enjoy. Thank you very much for your attending today. So we have in that Amira Panias Forum. So thank you very much once again. Thanks.
So fasten your seat belts, सुरक्षा की पेटियां बांध लो. सुरक्षा के निर्देश समझ में आए हों या ना आए हों, अपने आप को सचेत कर लो, जागृत कर लो. और पुनः again I welcome, a warm welcome, the perfect evening and the great gathering today. Our Honorable Chairman of IBPC, the Chief Guest Srimati Smriti Irani ji, the distinguished guest Dr. Atul Chauhan, Dr. Ashwin Fernandez, Shri B.G. Krishnan, Council of Economic, Trade, Commerce and Education of India and Dubai, the Governing Board, the fellow members of IBPC Dubai. Viksit Bharat, Shashakt Bharat. Viksit Bharat, Shashakt Bharat, or we say a developed Bharat or empowered Bharat is a vision of our Prime Minister, Honorable Shri Narendra Modi ji. So today, the entire gathering is looking for his dialogue, unke man ki baat, unke dil ki baat, the Modi dialogue. Before we come to that point, may I request Srimati Smriti Sinha ji to give a floral welcome to Srimati Smriti Irani ji. What a nice combination here, Smriti versus Smriti. And when these two Smritis are joining together, I am sure that our Smriti is going to be fantastic, fabulous and memorable in all the manners. And I also request our chairman, Shri Siddharth Balachandran, to give a floral welcome to the chairman of Amity Education Group, Dr. Atul Chauhan. And now the floral welcome to जिन्होंने मन की बात सुनी भी और लिखी भी, ऐसे डॉक्टर अश्विन फर्नांडिस. I request our Vice Chairman, Sri Sunil Sinha ji, to give a warm welcome, a floral welcome. And I request Shri Kumar Brahmanandan, convener of MMC Focus Group, to give a floral welcome to the Consulate, Commerce and Trade, Shri B.G. Krishnan Sahab. So again, a good welcome, a great welcome. As soon as I said good welcome, Dinesh Kothari ji saw me. What is he saying? The great welcome, sir. And may I request our chairman, Siddharth ji, to come on podium and address the gathering.
Srimati Smriti Irani ji, Atul Chauhan, governors, brothers and sisters of the IBPC fraternity, people associated with Amity, a warm welcome to all of you. India, the greatest democracy on the face of this earth. You know, I've always had a problem when people said India, the largest democracy. It's not that I don't agree with them, but I think the largest democracy doesn't describe the greatness of our country. Now, I've always thought, what is the measure of the quality of democracy? And then I had a revelation that I think the quality of democracy is measured by the ability of the populace to gauge the intent of the politician or the leader when they contest elections. And keeping that as a measure, we've been very, very lucky to have since independence, over the many years, we've had great governments of great intent. Now, if that is the measure of a successful, high-quality democracy, then the last 3 terms has been probably the highest quality of democracy that we have ever witnessed. Because stability is the cornerstone of any country. And we've been very, very fortunate to have a stable government headed by a very charismatic leader. We have witnessed his many successes over the years. But I always was very intrigued and very curious, like I'm sure all of us, as to what makes the persona, the individual in him, such a charismatic force in world affairs today. And that, I hope, has been covered in this book. I'm looking forward to reading this like everyone else. And before I conclude, I would like to welcome former Minister Srimati Smriti Irani ji. I've had great regard, and I've had the opportunity to listen to a couple of your addresses, keeping the successes as a political leader apart. What struck me was the absolute calm and poise that you display when you address people and when you have a normal conversation. I think that is the calmness, the calm strength, which is very essential for any policy maker in any country, more so India. So, welcome, ma'am. I wish your trip was a little longer, and next time we will ensure that you have a better look around this beautiful place called Dubai, which is the cornerstone of unparalleled development, as our country, India, is the cornerstone of civilization itself. So I welcome all of you. God bless UAE, God bless India, God bless all of you. Thank you.
I think I would have come little early, so I would have requested Shri Balachandran ji to remain on the stage. But no worry, sir. We will be requesting you again to come here because we are going to unveil the MODIALOGUE. So I also request Honorable Chief Guest, Srimati Smriti Irani ji to come on the stage. Mr. Siddharth Balachandran, Dr. Ashwin Fernandez, Dr. Atul Chauhan, and Dr. Wajahat Hussain, whose brainchild we could get this opportunity today. His initiative we curated. The MODIALOGUE has 33 chapters. The MODIALOGUE, as I was mentioning, 33 chapters, 248 pages. Don't think that I have read the book, because the book is the entire, all the episodes of Man Ki Baat of Honorable Prime Minister, Swachh Bharat, Jawan Bharat, Digital India, Startup Guru. There are many things which we are going to talk today, because it is a conversation towards the journey of developed India, Viksit Bharat, Shashakt Bharat. So punah badhai, many congratulations for this book and unveiling today. Thank you very much. In this continuation of the book, which is already acknowledged, the first opening reflection is written by Srimati Smriti Irani ji, acknowledged by Dr. Pramod Sawant, Chief Minister of Goa. It has also been acknowledged by former Chief Minister and the Union Cabinet Minister Shivraj Chauhan ji. Mr. Devendra Fadnavis has acknowledged that. Satish Mahana ji, the Speaker of UP Vidhan Sabha, has also acknowledged the book, and we all are going to acknowledge it today. Today, our guest, a distinguished guest of Amity University, Chairman of Amity Education Group, Dr. Atul Chauhan is with us. He is Chancellor of Amity University and CEO of AKC Group of Companies. He has been the President of Amity Education Group since 1994. He completed engineering degree at University College London. He holds accounting and finance degree from London School of Economics and Political Science, LSE. He also has a degree in international business from Pencroft International School. So with those types of the affiliations, the qualifications, the experience, why not? There cannot be any reason that this university is not on top. And we are proud to have and mention that the Amity University in India is in the top rank number 1. It has the world-class infrastructure, most high-tech campus, the intensive corporate interactions. And in Dubai, the university has established the campus in 700,000 square feet campus, and CEO Dr. Wajahat Hussain is also with us today. So I request Mr. Atul Chauhan to come on podium and address us.
Thank you so much. It's a great honor to be here with you this evening. You know, at Amity, we are extremely privileged to have really distinguished scholars and students who have graduated from our portals. But in this evening, we feel extremely proud because we've had the privilege of having Dr. Ashwin Fernandez, who is the hero of this evening, as a PhD scholar and who graduated with a PhD degree from Amity so many years ago. We are grateful to IBPC for hosting this evening. I have been coming to this great nation for over a decade when we established the Amity institutions, and I have always felt the great strength is the Indian business and professional community, which has built the links between the UAE and India. And if today the partnerships between our two nations are so deep, so strong, it is because of the extreme efforts and achievements of great business leaders like all of you who are sitting in this auditorium today. As Amity, we have seen how the reputation of our country has grown. Our family, we were based in Germany. Our generation, we grew up. We were born in Germany, grew up outside, then came back to India with this commitment on how we can contribute to educate the brilliant youth of our country. We have now expanded to 15 countries around the world. We have 250,000 students studying across. But what fills our heart with pride as we travel all across the world is the tremendous respect with which the Indian professionals are seen now all over the world. And I can say with great confidence that one of the greatest reasons for this is that our country is so extremely lucky to have a most visionary leader like Prime Minister Modi ji. What our Honorable Prime Minister has transformed for all of us through his passion, through his dedication, through his selfless and tireless commitment to not only every Indian within India, but for every Indian all over the world is absolutely unparalleled. And I think today, Dr. Ashwin, you are so extremely lucky to have Srimati Smriti Irani ji unveil your book, because we have observed there are very few such passionate leaders like her who will do anything for their country. We were extremely privileged to have Srimati Irani ji at the Amity University campus in the morning interacting with our students. And I think the hallmark of a great leader is that you can touch the hearts of anyone you meet. And Smriti ji, if you may allow me to say, I have not seen any other person who can touch the hearts of anyone they meet at a speed at which you do it. And you are a real superstar. We had great difficulties to evacuate from the campus because everyone was mobbing you to take selfies with you. That is the power, the superstar power that you have over community all over the world. So I congratulate Dr. Ashwin. Smriti ji, great thanks for being and supporting this great mission that Ashwin has to represent a great person like our Honorable Prime Minister, what he has done. I thank the IBPC for what you do for the community, and we can be proud to be Indians. And I'm sure that this book, and I would request all of you to read it, it represents the pride of being an Indian. Thank you.
In few words, the many things mentioned. The book, the academies, it's all knowledge, is all Roshni, Prakash. And I am recollecting the poetry of late Prime Minister, our Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, कि आओ फिर से दिया जलाएं, बुझी हुई बाती सुलगाएं, आओ फिर से दिया जलाएं. I think the Man Ki Baat, which was a broadcast, almost 150 episodes have been so far, that podcast. Compiling them is the AI's job. But narrating them with the interpretation, with the articulation, and with that type of the acknowledgements and summarizing in such a way that a person can read it is not an easy task. And that has been done by Dr. Ashwin Fernandez. Dr. Ashwin Fernandez is PhD in management, not in literature. As like me, I am also PhD, but not in literature, I am in finance. So likewise, Dr. Fernandez, he wrote the book on the politics, but he is PhD in finance, MBA, and also a commerce graduate. He has been associated with QS Group since 2012. In his current role as regional director, he works closely with universities in Middle East, Africa, and South Asia to better understand the local context and to support the universities and higher educational institutions for their excellence and capacity building. Ashwin is known as ambassador of quality and the quality movement in these regions. He is actively advocating and promoting the use of QS university ranking and QS rating for various purposes. Ashwin has visited universities in over 30 countries and has deep understanding of the working of many international acclaimed universities. He has lived in 4 countries and traveling numerous. As we were talking from couple of days in different country zones and different time zones we have spoken recently, and that's where the MODIALOGUE, again somewhere from the influence from Sanskrit where the sandhi comes, the swar sandhi, varna sandhi, the Modi evam dialogue, the Modi Dhan dialogue, it has come as MODIALOGUE. As I was mentioning, it has 33 chapters, 248 pages. Correct me if I'm wrong when you are going to be on fireside chat. Many of the chapters are going to be asked today, and all these people are with the questions. They also may come up what it is, what is inside, because unveiling is happening today, but in this world, nothing is hidden. So all the people know that what MODIALOGUE is, and because they have heard the Man Ki Baat. Ashwin ji again is a philanthropist, Dr. Fernandez, and he has also set up the PACT Foundation in Goa with the mission to promote inclusive education and drive sustainable development. So we welcome you again, sir. Please come on the stage and be ready for the fireside chat with Stuti Sinha. The first time this speaker is coming on podium in IBPC, she is a new member, not new member, couple of months back she has become the member, and she is Chief Operating Officer of Ignite Excellence DMCC, which in short form they say IG. Very commonly known when we draft the letters and the draftings and the articles, the IG. So she is COO of IG in DMCC. In profession, she is a technology entrepreneur, but by passion, she is a writer, she is a musician, and truly an art performer. So Shruti is a marketing professional and creative thinker who has spent her career in providing strategic leadership to marketing and branding initiatives in very iconic brands such as Taj Hotels, Asian Paints, and ITC. She is a published and award-winning writer whose poetries, fiction, creative, non-fiction have been featured and published more than 30 international journals and magazines. And that's how today Stuti. I'm sure that she is not going to just praise. Stuti means praising. But she is not just going to praise, but Stuti is going to ask the many of the questions, and the conversation is going to be very interesting. I'm sure that Stuti has vocal command over 9 languages. Yes, it needs a round of applause. So Stuti, please come on podium and take the initiative forward.
Good evening, everyone. And a very, very special welcome to our chief guest, Srimati Smriti Irani ji. It is my absolute honor to have a chat with Dr. Ashwin Fernandes, author of this wonderful book, MODIALOGUE, Conversations for a Viksit Bharat. MODIALOGUE, Conversations for a Viksit Bharat is a very comprehensive exploration of our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji's communication strategies, with a particular focus on his monthly radio program, मन की बात. मुझे पूरा यकीन है कि आप लोग मन की बात प्रोग्राम से अच्छी तरह वाकिफ़ होंगे. As you are aware, Man Ki Baat has achieved significant milestones since its inception in October 2014, including that we have recently witnessed 115 episodes of the program. Let me share with you some notable milestones that Man Ki Baat has achieved. As of April 2023, the program has reached approximately 1 billion people. About 230 million individuals are regular listeners, and an additional 410 million constitute an occasional audience. The milestone 100th episode was broadcast worldwide, including at the United Nations headquarters. Man Ki Baat has played a very significant role in introducing the real Bharat to its countrymen and influenced behavior, with 60% of listeners expressing interest in nation-building activities. In this book, MODIALOGUE, the author, Dr. Ashwin Fernandes, Executive Director at QS World University Rankings, delves into how Man Ki Baat has evolved from a simple broadcast into a dynamic platform for national dialogue, connecting citizens across India's diverse landscape. Dr. Fernandes, through this book, has brought out how the Prime Minister has leveraged the transformative power of communication in governance and society, and how he has used that to connect with his countrymen at grassroots level through the medium of radio. Sir, I will have a lot of questions for you regarding this.
Thank you so much, Smriti. Originally, I was preparing the questions to ask to Madam Smriti Radhi ji. So
We are glad to have Smriti ji with us today, who has played a pivotal role in shaping the content of this book. But my questions are going to be directed to you. So let me turn to you, sir. My first question is, what inspired you to write this book? Can you take us through your thought process, through the journey of what inspired you to write this book?
So writing for me has been something I've been doing right from college days. I've been a journalist. I used to run a newspaper every quarter, every 15 days in Goa. So I used to love to write, but somehow instead of writing, I went into finance and accounting, because that's what the peer pressure was. Everybody was going into at that time, and at that time I had no clue that 20 years later I'm going to be evaluating the universities based on a specific criteria which QS develops. For those who haven't heard of QS, it's a UK-based organization, and I had no clue when I was studying, a village boy looking at how do you get from the village to the city. No clue that I'm going to be looking at universities across various countries. Now that was the early beginning, and from there on I came to Dubai, went to Singapore, and one such incident. Then of course I stopped writing. One such incident, when I was reading it about 10, 12 years ago, really hurt me personally, was the New York Times cartoon. You'll have all seen the New York Times cartoon, where they depicted how India was a farmer with a cow, was waiting outside a club, this elite space club, saying, wanting entry to elite space club, and they're saying, this is India. Now, that is when India had the mission to Mars, which was done at less than the cost of the movie Interstellar. So we could actually send a satellite, a mission all the way to Mars for much lesser price than what they actually took to do the movie. Now that, of course, brought me into where I wanted to come back to India and, of course, give back and do some work in Indian higher education in that case. And that's where a couple of years ago, my founder of QS and myself met with Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and it was a 1-hour discussion on what great things he did, and he spoke of so many areas, including his governance in Gujarat, which really inspired me. And prior to that, Goa is, of course, disconnected from the rest of India, for those who know. We don't get involved in national politics. We believe that Goa is an independent country, of course, wanting independence sometime in the future. So that meeting changed the way I thought again of India. And the previous incident of the mission to Mars, and of course those who have read my first book, which is India's Knowledge Supremacy, which was written soon after I met the Honorable Prime Minister, was the start of this whole concept of wanting to show the world we are no longer farmers with cows. We are doing much more than that, including at QS, where most of our intelligent processes now are happening in India. So, and India is becoming the factory of the world now. It's having, outsourcing is happening in India. So we are beyond that, and India is rising, infrastructure is improving. So my aim was how I could leverage my position in QS and take the message of the Prime Minister to a wider audience, including the people of Goa as well, and be a facilitator into the vision and mission of the Honorable Prime Minister. So that's where the idea came of the book. But why exactly? And I think the next question I will take on quickly and just explain. When I came to Delhi last year, it was exactly the time of the 100th episode.
Right.
And I was invited to a very unique exhibition at the National Gallery of Modern Arts, organized by the Ministry of Arts and Culture, which had different artworks on what they had sourced on 100 episode. And those artworks later, I never knew, would actually form part of this book. And that's why the idea came. If I didn't know what Man Ki Baat covered, because I actually never listened to it before that. And when I started reading the excerpts of those 100 episodes, I read a few of them, and because of this book, I had to read all of them. And then the idea struck me of why not we put something together? They aren't the speeches of Honorable Prime Minister in there. They are chapter-wise, based on different themes. If he's spoken of women empowerment in the 100 episodes, what has he spoken? If it is with yoga, what has he spoken of yoga? So I thought it would be good messaging for the world, and that's why I'm honored today with Ma'am Smriti Irani, who has joined me on this tour to strengthen that message. So we are on a 4-nation tour, and this is the second stop for us in UAE.
Now, sir, you mentioned that you had the opportunity to meet Honorable Prime Minister, so I cannot but ask you this question. Is the driver for this book only the episodes of Man Ki Baat and the content that he covered in those episodes, or is it also his absolutely charismatic persona?
It's his absolutely charismatic, persona. And I still remember the first meeting. I was nervous myself, and I've met Sheikh Mohammed before, and I wasn't as nervous meeting him because I heard so many things about him. And I was a bit reserved because, of course, I had my CEO and founder with me. And immediately he seen me and said, "Ajaiye, aap Goa se ho? Goa hamare liye bahut mahatvapurna hai." So I was like, wow, he knows. Of course, he's been briefed. But it's his ability to connect with people and connect at a heart-to-heart level, which really...
Absolutely. So speaking about his ability to communicate with people, obviously, the book you've written focuses on his communication style in Man Ki Baat. Now, I am asking you this question, Dr. Fernandez, but after this, ye sawal, Smriti ma'am, aapke bhi taraf aayega. And the question is, how do you think that a show like Man Ki Baat bridges the gap between governance and citizens at the grassroots especially in a country that is as diverse as ours?
And you have probably answered the question already by using the word diverse. And we are itself, and I get this asked a lot of times when we do our rankings as well, why do we have the same criteria for all of India together when there are different languages, there are different states, every 10 kilometers you go, 20 kilometers you go, you find a different way how people behave and how people live. So that's exactly what Man Ki Baat is supposed to do, is bridge the divide between all the regions of India. Despite being in the village, in the hills, there is no internet access, there is perhaps no newspapers reaching those places, there are other issues. Man Ki Baat, through a simple traditional method of the radio waves,
Yes.
which was revived again. And I have to add that I was so inspired personally with it that I decided that I will use the power of the radio further. And that is why I went to the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting and said, listen, I want to find out, can I establish a community radio in Goa? And I'm happy to say that I've got the permission to run Goa's first community radio station, because I feel the power what
Wow.
Modi ji has used radio is immense. So we want to further
Absolutely.
enhance and provide the community a voice through the community radio.
Absolutely. Smriti ma'am, I'm going to turn to you with the... So, sir, I tried asking the question for you, so I have been asked to come back to
We
you
can
now.
change the hot seat later to ma'am.
So, I was fortunate enough to be a part of the audience this morning at Amity, and you brought out a very interesting parallel between Modi ji's communication style and Chanakya Niti. So, Chanakya, I believe, in his seminal work Arthashastra, he talked about leaders and how leaders must articulate policies and decisions in a way that resonates with people, and it ensures their participation. So I'm sure as an audience we are curious, we want to know, is this the convergence you have talked about in your book, or are there other convergences also?
So there are many other areas, and I think leaders need to stop telling the what, but the why they're doing things. I think that the why is something I realized can transform how a person thinks, because everybody wants to know what is in it for me. And that is what communication is all about, is to be able to, heart to heart, to be able to have that communication that says, I'm doing this because of this reason. And I think that is where Chanakya's communication strategy is to articulate it further. And now when Modi ji said, let's do monetization, everybody, of course, some people complained, but they went with the flow. And today we've seen things are changing, and things are changed. We have a digital economy in India, which I think we're trying to replicate it. I was in Ghana a few months ago, and Ghana was like, there were talks of how they could learn from India's demonetization and the digital strategy. So there are countries where I look at India, and I know that, for example, the UPI now is available in the UAE. So all the good, and we've talked to UPI as well in the book, and the digital economy in the book as well,
Right.
into what communication he has spoken over many episodes on India's digital journey.
Right. So you've kind of, taken a lead into my next question through talking about digitization. But I still want to ask you, how do you think these principles of, Chanakya's communication style are relevant in today's modern governance, and especially in the digital age with platforms like podcasts and live streamings and so many other different digital platforms through which people can communicate with a much wider audience?
So we have lots of options available today. You need to be able to simplify it. And
Yes.
simplification of communication and not complication of communication is the key. Because you want to be able to say it in the most simplest form. And that's what we've seen. Today we have, as you mentioned, we have several communication channels available to probably send the same message out rather than complicating it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um, in the course of writing this book, you have listened to 100 plus episodes of Man Ki Baat. And I assume you've probably listened to some of those episodes multiple times. So it's natural, I have to ask you, what was your personal favorite episode or theme from Man Ki Baat, or something that you heard, any anecdote or anything that you heard in those episodes that surprised you, and why?
I think there's the Swachh Bharat, because I've been so involved in higher education, and I think I've seen it first hand in higher education institutions. And what he said about the change in mindset. Okay, earlier we go to India. In India, we've seen how places were, of course, not in order. There was issues with, and it was started right from the railways in this case, or other facilities. But today that is changing. And I think that is what the change is, what he's been talking about, the change in mindset. And the newer generation now, the new folks who are coming in, the young people of India are being much more mindful. And that, while I was doing this whole reading, there was an incident which happened at a college, and it happened a few months apart, which really, for me, I thought, wow, people are being really mindful. And it could be, definitely it could be, people are being mindful themselves, but the whole country being clean at the moment, the drive to change the mindset is happening. At the campus, what happened, I was looking at a bunch of students, one littered a chips packet, and the other person asked them, you have to pick it up and put it in the recycling bin, right? So that mindset is changing in India at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. If you could ask PM Modi one question on Man Ki Baat, what would that be?
Well, if I want, it's a difficult question because there's so many things I want to ask him. But for me, because again, I will connect it back to higher education, I want to ask him, of course, in my capacity, is what next for Indian higher education? We want the top 100, yes. How are we going to do that? How are we going to speed it up? How are we going to put those? And I know India is investing a lot of money. So I would like to have a conversation with him on the top 100 of the world. How can we position India to have one of those top universities, and what will it take to get there? Thank you.
So I could go on with my questions. I really could. But I want to ask you, is there something I haven't asked you yet that you would like to share?
Well,
this is your opportunity, sir.
You could have asked me, what's next after this book?
Okay, let's ask you, what's next after this book?
Well, I want to get this book translated into several languages. Perhaps Indian languages, but also foreign languages, so we can take it to newer borders, to people who do not speak English, and showcase our Honorable Prime Minister to them.
This morning you spoke about how Man Ki Baat has now gotten translated into so many languages to make it more accessible to newer audiences. So if Man Ki Baat is translated, it's very fitting that you would want the next project to be for MODIALOGUE to be translated and to reach a wider audience. Sir, it's been very interesting talking to you, and it's been very interesting to hear your thoughts on how you think Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji uses Man Ki Baat to leverage communication in his leadership and to connect to Indian people. I am sure I speak for everyone here that we have enjoyed this opportunity to listen to you, and conversations like this will continue to inspire every citizen of India. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
So nicely summarized, well mentioned, well curated, well presented, and with the future objectives. But in what timeline? When we say the future objectives, immediately our experts like Ramesh Mahalingam, he says that what is the KPI, what is the smart target line? If the 9 languages, if you want to do, the scholars are here. Now, I was just reading through the book, and as I started before the index, although there is no page number over there, so I cannot say that on the book that you go to page number so and so. After that, there are the numberings, but which is dedicated to Bharat. It is written that dedicated to Bharat, a country that stands tall in face of adversity, a country that blends to help others in their honor of need, a country that encourages its youth to think, a country that balances nature and progress, a country that makes us proud of our roots, a country that's mine as I am hers. And that is the first flavor of the book, and then you can understand what the literature is inside. Today our chief guest is a historical person. When I say historical person, started her career from the TV serials. I think we all remember Tulsi. But the history is that first woman cabinet minister of India for human resource and development. That's the history, that's the mark. And she has been the youngest minister in the cabinet of Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji. Srimati Smriti Irani, the former Union Cabinet Minister of India. She is an Indian politician, of course, no doubt in that. Who doesn't know that? She is a former actress, a fashion model, a television producer. She was Minister of Women and Child Development from 2019 till 2024. And she also Minister of Minority Affairs during 2022 to 2024. She previously served as Minister of Human Resource Development and Minister of Education from 2014 to 2016. Minister of Textile. The Dubai is known for textile, guys. And she has been the Minister of Textile 2016 to 2021. And also, she has been Minister of Information and Broadcasting. So now we can understand the several and the kinds of the portfolios she carries. And I will like to say a poetry also at this moment, which I just brought in. कि मैं अबला नादान नहीं हूं, मैं अबला नादान नहीं हूं, कोई दबी हुई पहचान नहीं हूं। मैं अबला नादान नहीं हूं, कोई दबी हुई पहचान नहीं हूं, स्वाभिमान से मैं जीती हूं, रखती हूं मन में खुददारी हूं। तुलसी, मैं जन्मदायिनी नारी हूं, मैं जन्मदायिनी नारी हूं। So we welcome you, Srimati Smriti Irani ji, to come on the stage. The audience is keen, eager, and looking for hearing you.
I was forewarned that Sahitya ji will come up with some poetry. I am much obliged, sir, for your kindness, and more so the flourish with which you speak. That a man of numbers can pay such eloquent homage to words brings to light how much you love literature. Ladies and gentlemen, there was a little conundrum in the author's mind when he was being very elegantly grilled this evening. The actual program that was professed by him was a tete-a-tete, a chat between the author and me. And I can guarantee that in the company of Mr. Balachandran, we took much delight in his discomfort. That Atul Durhan talks about and very lovingly so, the alumni from his establishment, I think, Atul, it is a credit to your institution that your student did not blink and was grace under fire. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what makes Ashwin not only an author to reckon with, but principally also a much celebrated professional. And that is why it is befitting that he be called on this stage, which celebrates the Indian profession and potential across the globe. Today, he finds resonance with professionals in the room, Indians in the room, and he celebrates a very unique journey. Many amongst you have seen many leaders in India. Leadership for you as individuals and for you as citizens to reflect on, to study, to evaluate is not new. But what Ashwin's book brings to the fore is not just a leader's journey. It is actually a citizen born in modest means who went from a small village in Gujarat, had the audacity to say, one day I shall optimize my potential to serve my country. That in his journey he went to every district, every state of India, never imagining that one day he will be the head of government. And as he traversed across the country, he saw many challenges, but in those challenges he saw opportunities. This evening began with Mr. Balachandran speaking about how a democracy, vibrant, yes, but comes to full glory. As Siddharth said, and I have his permission to quote unquote speak about that facet of his dialogue with you, that the glory of a democracy is best established when it brings to the helm a leader like Narendra Modi. But having the privilege of working with Mr. Modi for 2 decades, I can say this. For him, the most vibrant democracy is one where the politician becomes incidental. And that is where we are, I think, truly headed now. What was known of our country, especially globally, was that we possibly, a decade ago, do not respect due process. What was known of us globally was it, though we are ambitious, we do not appreciate international standards of excellence. And the decade before us is a decade where Prime Minister Modi, as the head of our government, has resolutely said that India will not only meet international standards, but also set global standards. Ashwin's book is far removed from those processes. Because many a times when we talk about Prime Minister Modi, in cities such as Dubai, he is looked upon from an economic lens. But how does he leverage that economic prowess and serve the challenges of humanity? I sit amongst today many who are chartered accountants, many who audit, many who lead companies. And you will appreciate what Prime Minister Modi brought. Now imagine this is a gentleman who was born to a family where the mother worked in her village, in other people's home, possibly cleaning utensils, only so that she could get 2 meals a day for her children. And imagine this, the Prime Minister at 74 years ago, what was India like? Did every woman in the rural ramparts of our country have a toilet? How many women spent half their days lugging water to parched throats in their families? How many women collected firewood, coughing away every night quietly so that their families could be fed? So when I look at Prime Minister Modi's journey, and when I look at the gas cylinder that he gave to 110 million families, imagine how informed that decision was from personal experiences. That women in this room, for us, having a toilet is an expected happenstance. But imagine the fact that 110 million families who received a toilet for the first time in independent India had to wait for Modi. If every family had 5 members, or even 4, imagine 440 million Indians lived through 70 years of independence without a toilet. And that's what he brought. So when he spoke about Swachhata, and Ashwin touched upon it in his conversation, it is not just a policy statement. It is a life lived through struggle, seeing women challenged. For never before in our country was toilet a political slogan. Modi made it a clarion call for respect for women. Today, as you sit down in a glamorous hall with plates laid out, I'm sure the organizers who are working behind the scenes to ensure this lovely evening will tell you what a great struggle it is to just host one dinner. To look at everybody's menus, everybody's likes, dislikes. But imagine this, in our country, back home, 800 million Indians have at their doorstep delivered food grains so that their families can survive. To do that month after month for the past 4 years, imagine the partnership between the people, the Prime Minister, and many in this room must have many a times be accosted by how diffident our bureaucracy can be. But the fact that our bureaucracy can work in tandem and feed 800 million people for 4 years incessantly without a break in operations, that tells you what India is today. I've had the privilege of speaking to a few people in your glorious city. And yes, in fact, never gone to the Amity Noida campus. It is just divine providence that I was to visit the one in the UAE. But as I sat in that campus this morning, 60 nationalities coming together under one roof. That is the Indian potential. That when we talk about sharing of knowledge, we don't talk about only our civilizational journey. In fact, we are the harbinger of new knowledge. The fact that yes, we have had a profound civilizational journey, but you could go to one of the campuses operated and owned by Indians and have labs of international standards. And that is what New India is all about. That we grow not only to benefit our own, we grow so that global communities can benefit with us. That is every Indian's Man Ki Baat. Ashwin spoke about UPI. You will be flabbergasted, ladies and gentlemen. As of July 2024, UPI, and if you remember, Modi was scoffed at when he said, can we digitally transact on financial needs? He was told and reprimanded by the opposition as to how will those who are illiterate in the rural crevices of our country use digital instruments of finance. Well, I'm happy to share with the House that every day on that very UPI, 466 million transactions take place. Value every day of transaction is 66,000 crores plus. So imagine feeding 800 million people every month, creating a robust system that transacts 466 million times. All systems go, nothing implodes. And finding the time to speak to people under a brand called Man Ki Baat. That's what New India is all about. That the world should see that everything that you can imagine and much more can be done by Indians across the globe. And the template of it will be set in India. So Ashwin, thank you for assimilating that. And programs like this help us communicate and understand how far we have come as people and further that we have to go. My gratitude to the organization for hosting us this lovely evening. And again, congratulations, Ashwin, for a job well done.
Thank you. May I request our chairman and vice chairman to come on the stage.
It's a privilege to propose a vote of thanks to Srimati Smriti Irani, whom we have seen for years in different roles. But first of all, big thanks to Ashwin, to you, for bringing Modi to our home. But through this, we watch him on television, which is fractional moment, half a minute, 2 minutes. But this is permanent, and I think it's a must-have book in every home. Because I've been in this country 50 years. Like many others have been here longer or shorter. But last 12 years have been remarkable for Indians in UAE. The relationship between the two countries have gone to different level. The respect for the blue passport that we have is a different level. And that's thanks to one person, that is Shri Narendra Modi. The reputation, I mean, you've heard what has happened in last many years, 12 years particularly, Swachh Bharat, Viksit Bharat. So there is poetry तो मुझे कहनी पड़ेगी. ये मेरी भी कमजोरी है. कि है इनका हजारों साल नरगिस अपनी बेनूरी पे रोती है. बड़ी मुश्किल से पैदा होता है, बड़ी मुश्किल से चमन में पैदा होता है दीदावर. हजारों साल नरगिस अपनी बेनूरी पे रोती है, बड़ी मुश्किल से पैदा होता है चमन में दीदावर. Didawar is a person who is sharp-sighted, who takes action, who is quick. And that is Narendra Modi. In 72 years, 74 years post-independence, he is the Didawar that we have got in the country. And Chaman is Hindustan in our country. So big occasion to celebrate his life in your book, through your book. And who could be better person to inaugurate and unveil that book than Mrs. Smriti Irani, who has come here and be with us. So big thank you to you, ma'am. Big thank you to Ashwin, my friend Parasji, Mr. Krishnan, Siddharth, Chairman, and Sunil, and Sahitya, Mr. Literature. We have seen Mrs. Smriti Irani in different roles whenever there has been need, whether it's in Uttar Pradesh or any other part of the country. She has never held back. She has always been on the forefront, helping people, standing by people, not only for your party, BJP. I'm not a BJP person, but I'm the biggest fan of Narendra Modi, and thereafter you. The reason I say so, because we as Indians take pride in saying that he's our Prime Minister. We take pride in saying that. And I'll give you a small incident, because last time I was in Delhi, a few weeks back, I think it was just a month before election, and I asked my driver when I was driving home, कैसा है? बोला नरेंद्र मोदी के बाद हमारे बच्चे भूखे नहीं सोते. Now that is the biggest thing a driver can tell you who has nothing to do with anybody. His only concern is that his children don't sleep hungry anymore. तो आपने जो काम किया है उसके लिए भी एक पोएट्री बनती है कि है इनका ढंग गुलशन में बिल्कुल निराला, किसी फूल से दिल लगाया नहीं है, चाहा है कांटों ने जब भी उलझना, तो स्मृति ईरानी ने अपना दामन बचाया नहीं है. With these, big thank you to everyone for coming, for making this event a huge success. And Atul, I'll tell you the relationship that I have with your family. I think your wife was article with my brother-in-law in Jaipur. Wajahat is a dear friend, and he has done a remarkable job for your university in this part of the world. And Paras and I are neighbors. We walk together. He gives me gyan every morning. I tell you, whatever I am today able to speak, thanks to him. ये ज्ञान वहीं से आया है. So big thank you to everyone. We are all waiting for dinner, so I won't stand between the two of us. It's the biggest thing. But in Gujarati में हम कभी नहीं कहते कि thank you. हम कहते आवजो. आप फिर आइएगा. Thank you.
So again the dinner is open. તો બધાને જી મળવા માટે નિમંત્રણ છે. સો બધા આવો ને જીમો. અને જે પણ ગુજરાતીના ફૂડ હોય કે નહીં હોય તો મને ખબર નથી, પણ અહીંયા વેજીટેરિયન ઘણા બધા છે. સો બધાને અભિનંદન, બધાને આમંત્રણ.